Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Laymen Daily Show. How is everyone today? Big news today. Now, originally I wasn't going to go live because I wasn't sure if there was enough news. Probably will be a smaller show today, but I wanted to go live today because there has been some big news that has dropped. As you guys probably saw from the thumb, and if you've been on Twitter, you can see that the EU has actually officially approved the Activision deal with Xbox. There's some other news. There's a trailer today that I want to... not really a trailer, but like something from Jack Black that I want to show you. That's definitely going to get this entire show demonetized. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's show it to you. It's after the drop. Talk about the Xbox news, other news, and the Jack Black thing. All right. How's everyone in the chat? I have the AI game today. Who's excited for the AI game? I know I am. I know you guys are too, okay? It is one of my favorite things to do. It says things are getting spicy now. Things are getting spicy, actually, with the whole Activision Blizzard King merger deal. Grant, back again. I'm back again, my friend. We were so close to not being back today, but we are. Margin says, so they finally did the right thing. Well, unpopular opinion. I'm definitely one of these people that can see some benefit from Activision being able to compete with what's it called, PlayStation in any way they can, and that is inclusive of purchasing certain companies to allow them to continue to be competitive, right? But let's get into it, right? So Xbox's Activision Blizzard deal approved by European Commission. Okay, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard has been approved by the European Commission. The approval brings Microsoft's historic deal one step closer to completion. Now, we both, me and you, right? Just no one else, just me and you. We remember, of course, that the CMA has said no to this, and the US has still to give us any clear clarity on if they're going to be moving forward with this, but they seem to be still in the courts with the US. So we don't know if that's going to go through in terms of the US regulatory area. We do know, of course, that the CMA is doubling down and saying, no, we're sticking to our guns. We don't want this deal to move forward, but the EU said it's fine. And it's a relatively long article here, but the major points is it seems like the major thing that has really got this over the line for Activision Blizzard to become a part of the Xbox family is that the 10-year deal that allows any other legitimate streaming service stream any Activision Blizzard King game for the next 10 years, right? So this is ultimately saying that any company that wants to stream games from Activision on their platforms, and it's not going to be gated off on just Xbox's cloud streaming or Game Pass. It's not allowed to just own that exclusively. And I think that in itself is good for the industry, right? No one wants just one place to play Call of Duty or one place in terms of streaming, right? A lot of places in the world are going to have more dominant spaces where cloud gaming is certainly a bit more dominant with certain companies in certain regions, right? You might not want to have to play it on Game Pass or Xbox's cloud streaming servers. You want to be able to play it in different areas. That's the first thing, right? So you're going to be able to play it on different companies' streaming services. It's not going to just be on Xbox's streaming platforms. But we knew this, right? This isn't new stuff. We actually knew this for some time that was going to be very much part of the deal. And another big part of this, it goes on to say that even if the games were available for PlayStation, it would still be able to compete. So even if the games were taken away from other streaming platforms, right? That's hypothetically now. Let's just say these games were taken away from other streaming platforms and it was just on Xbox's platforms. The EU, the European Commission, feels like PlayStation can still compete. And I completely agree with that. The idea that PlayStation will not be able to compete because Xbox owns a couple of games, even if they, a couple of major games, even if they are large games in the industry. PlayStation has so much to offer. They have so many exclusives, so many first-party AAA experiences that are fundamentally like part of the DNA of the gaming landscape now. God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, even if you don't love it. I certainly did. Just to name a few, of course. There are so many amazing first-party titles from PlayStation that they can continue to compete and they can continue to sell hardware off the back of those very high-quality AAA experiences. So for anyone to think that, PlayStation is not going to be able to compete because Xbox has, Activision Blizzard games on cloud streaming or Xbox has, Activision Blizzard King games just on their platform, I don't think that is true. I don't think that's true. Having said that, we have seen recently how they handled Redfall. And there's a lot of people now that have said, you know what, the way that you guys have handled Redfall, we're not huge fans of you taking on Activision and seeing what you're going to do with, all the Blizzard games or Call of Duty, So this legitimately brings back the argument of if this is going to go through. That's the thing. This legitimately brings back the argument that the whole Activision deal, out of the 12 jurisdictions and the regulatory jurisdictions, it seems like now 10 out of the 12 are on board. 10 out of the 12. We're waiting for the US and, of course, the UK, the CMA. That's the ones that we're waiting for. And lastly, the big thing that they talk about here is it's not financially viable. It's not viable for Xbox and Activision to gate off their certain things to only the Xbox ecosystem. A lot of the money that Activision will make, of course, across the platform landscape, console landscape, is naturally going to be on, will Switch in some ways, but PlayStation. It doesn't make sense for them, and I've covered this before, it doesn't make sense for them to actually gate off their games to just Xbox ecosystem. Because then they're not going to be making as much money. $69 billion, right? There's a lot of money to be putting down there. I think that's 103 billion Australian dollars. That's a lot of freaking money. So it makes sense, right? Like if they're going to be doing this deal, they need to make sure that they're making money for at least 10 years on multiple platforms, recouping those funds. And then after 10 years, who knows what's going to happen in the next 10 years, right? And we have seen what happened with Elder Scrolls, with Starfield, and of course with Redfall, that these games did become exclusives for the Xbox ecosystem, right? So we can probably still expect that. We can expect something along the lines of that happening, maybe in the next 10 years. But for the foreseeable future, if this deal does go through, the three major points. Number one, for the next 10 years, you are expecting this to be on all streaming platforms, and you're going to be expecting this on all consoles in terms of Activision Blizzard King games. Secondly, if it was to go through and it wasn't to be on PlayStation, PlayStation can still compete. That's the thing. PlayStation can still compete. It's not the end of the world. We know that they're going to be just fine. And thirdly, even if, the deal does go through, it doesn't make financial sense for Microsoft to try and gate off all their games just to the Xbox ecosystem. And lastly, I'll say again, about the Redfall thing, it's a legitimate concern. It's a legitimate concern to see that Xbox may be handed the keys to some big IP, and we just hope that they will manage that correctly. I think the biggest problem with having so many studios that you've tried to acquire is because it becomes a very big job for Phil Spencer and the team in general, the umbrella overlooking all these studios, trying to keep tabs on everything. That's not easy, right? You got 14 or 15 studios or whatever you've got now, and you're going to try and keep tabs on the quality, the overall direction, the creative vision. Man, that's tough. Okay, and Redfall is a perfect example of them saying that they were too late in development to try and actually do anything. Before it goes gold, you could have stopped that. You could have easily stopped that, okay? That's nonsense. You could have easily stopped that, pushed that back 6 months, or a year, or 10 years. Redfall feels like it needed 10 years, all right? But this is increasingly going to be more and more of an issue for Xbox. But to the quality control, that it has to kind of take on is going to be a lot, you know? Crystallo says, Starfield will be 6 out of 10 buggy mess. Well, we don't know that, but you know what? It could be. But this is the make or break for Phil. Starfield is the make or break. If Starfield sucks, if it gets 7s out of 10s from IGN, it's over for Phil. Like, I really do think that, right? We saw from that previous thing, that previous interview that he gave, that we were seeing a Phil Spencer kind of down in the dumps, right? He definitely had a defeatist attitude. Now, as that interview has gone on, some people have felt like the message he was bringing across is different from the original take that most people had. I still feel that the interview that Phil Spencer gave definitely conceded the console war, but in a way that he was trying to say, look, we can't really compete there. We're just going to do our own thing in different avenues, right? And they are trying to do that. And the Activision Blizzard deal folds into that. That's very much part of what they want to be doing, right? They want to be competing on multiple ways in which the consumer can play. They want to try and invite as many people as possible in terms of cloud streaming, Game Pass. You can play on PC. Like, there's all sorts of ways that they're trying to compete outside the console war. Because as Phil kind of said in that interview, like, you know, Starfield can be 11 out of 10. It's not going to shift the console war. And that's kind of true, right? So look, best of luck, Phil, with Starfield. We want you to do well, my friend. Well, I want you to do well. Because Phil's a dude. Phil's a dude. Omar says, Xbox is really just an all-round W. If you love Xbox, man, fair enough. That's great. I definitely don't remember the last time I turned on my Xbox, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a big offering from Xbox, right? There is a big offering from Xbox, and they have been selling relatively well. It's been one of the fastest selling consoles for Xbox, right? Xbox Series X and S. So I think it's been pretty up and down for them, but I think their sales have been relatively okay in the space of Xbox. Not in comparison to Switch and PlayStation. They've sold better, right? And Omar says, like the stream, guys. Exactly right, Omar. Like the stream, and also press the notification icon button or whatever you got to do, so you know when I'm live. It's very important. Mario says, Game Pass was supposed to get integrated into Facebook streaming and such later on. I think there was a lot of companies that were talking about integrating streaming or integrating games. Remember Stadia trying to integrate Twitch with you can start playing a game immediately? Well, that didn't happen. Game Pass is definitely the most valuable thing in the gaming landscape. Hands down, there's no two ways about it. You play over 100-something titles, if not more now, on the Game Pass for $15 a month. You can play Redfall. Guys, you can play Redfall. Holy shit. Don't forget, you can play Redfall, and that's what it's all about. You've got to jump on right now. It's Game of the Year. All right? It got 10s across the... Well, minus 10s across the board. Still a 10 there. There's a little dash next to it. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means it's shit. Props. In relation to this whole thingamabob, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick came out, of course, and said that he praised the EC, the European Commission's approval, saying that it's yet again showing how sensible it is and how amazing it is, and blah, 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 and talking about the road ahead. We can still make this work, right? So he's come out and said, I love what they've said. You know, Bobby Kotick's all for it. I wonder why he's all for it. Maybe because he has a vested interest. Maybe. Who knows? But he's very much on board with the latest EC decision. And you know who isn't on board with the latest EC decision? That's the CMA. The UK's regulator says EU is wrong to approve Microsoft Activision deal. They said, while we recognise and respect that the European Commission is entitled to take a different view, the CMA stands by its decision. So, what that says to me is, hey, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. We are sticking to our guns, and we are going to make sure that we are not going to set a precedent here that allows people to think that we can be easily pushed over, because we're the CMA and we're not going to take it. 67% of legal battles with the CMA have gone in the favor of the CMA. So every time people have tried to appeal a decision, 67% of the time it works. Every time. 7% of the time the CMA does actually win those cases. So they're not easily pushed over. This is big money, and they've got Lord Panic now. Xbox has that, the lawyer that used to work for the Queen called Lord Panic. CMA, not going to make that joke again. All right? Panic, yes, blah, blah, blah. The CMA must be panicking because they've got Lord Panic, blah, 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 blah. But it's interesting to see. And this is going to be continuing for many months now. I reckon this is at least 12 months of litigation or whatever you want to, a lot of back and forth and legal battles and trying to figure out how they're going to do it. And here's the thing. If the US also jumps on board, that's 11 out of the 12 precincts. That will be enough, right? For maybe Microsoft to be like, fuck it, we just won't sell or we won't play ball in the UK. We'll sell our games, we'll do our cloud initiative outside of that region. We'll just do our own thing. That's going to be potentially part of it, And then all, the NordVPN sales in in the UK are going to skyrocket for all the neckbeard gamers. All right, if I was living in the UK and I wanted to play a game, I wanted to do the whole cloud streaming experience, I'll just download NordVPN. This video was sponsored by NordVPN. Grant, new member. Thank you so much for becoming a member, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, my friend. In other news, which is kind of strange, Steam is now doing 90-minute trials for certain games. Here's the thing. I've been doing 2-hour free trials with Steam for a long time. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When you download a game, play it for a bit, and you just return it. Refund it. Steam is really good that way. Okay? This may be some sort of initiative to try and get away from people just constantly refunding when they've played an hour and 59 minutes of a game. Here's the thing. It's kind of less time than the refund policy. So they should have done 2 hours free trial. I'm just going to throw it out there. 2 hours free trial should have been much better. It just makes sense. It just works, as Todd would say. But look, you know what? It's a cool initiative. I think it's cool. I think it's good. I think, if anything, it'll bring more people to play different games that they wouldn't usually experience. Because the whole refund thing, it's not a huge process, but like you gotta click away and go, yes, why do I not want this game? Because I think it sucks, blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck that, right? Like, if I just want to play a game for 90 minutes and just do the trial, let me do it. More gamers will play games that they may have never really wanted to purchase, but they wanted to play, and then they play it and they go, holy shit, this is a great game, and then they end up purchasing it. It will be great for indie titles that don't have that huge marketing campaign behind them. They'll have more players now. Things like that, right? So I think that's a good little thing to include in Steam. In Steam. Mario, 2 hours and refund. Absolutely. So many people did that. Tim, this is Brexit. Brexit 2.0. You're right, Alex and Tim. This is just happening all over again. What did we learn last time from the Brexit? Some people loved it. Some people didn't. Okay, and we're still feeling the fallout of Brexit. Speaking of Brexit, I'm going to the UK in a couple of months. I will be away from the show for a month, everybody, in July. You going to miss me? Maybe I'll do a show overseas, but I don't know. It'll be hard. Got to find the right internet connection, all that kind of business and nonsense. Streaming on a potato internet connection. Just like cutting in and out like this week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Laymen Daily Show. Fuck that. I'll bring a laptop anyway. If I just want to rattle off about nothing, I'll just turn the laptop on. Like, hey guys, what's up? I'm in Europe. We'll see. We will see. Mario says, I like some of those 60-minute demos, full game almost, speedrun. That's the thing. I did see this in the comment section. There's going to be an entire dedicated genre now of speedrunners that just try and finish the game within the trial. Within the trial. That'd be sick. But the thing with trials, sometimes they don't give you the full game in the trial. So I don't know if you can speedrun. Maybe you can. Who knows? Mario says, depends the hotel. That's right. Depends on the hotel. If it's good hotel... If it's a good hotel, maybe I'll get some good streaming internet. I might go live and just annoy you guys for an hour and talk about nothing. Very hungover. What do you reckon? Speaking of hungover, this guy looks very hungover, whoever made this. Doesn't really make sense, but who thinks of this shit? It's so genius. It's fantastic. It really is. And it's working. It just works. Oh man. The amount of stuff that's coming out of Tears of the Kingdom of people making shit, it's just amazing. Legitimately amazing. Oh, it's so good. In other news that's amazing, kind of a segue. Amazon is making another Lord of the Rings MMO despite cancelling the last one. So last time it was working with Tencent to try and make something, but that with Amazon, but that whole thing fell over for numerous reasons. Now they've come back with Embracer Group, which acquired the Middle-earth Enterprises last year. Here's the thing. Do you guys remember? So this is maybe coming in the future. We'll see what happens, of course. There's a lot of games that are coming out. There's the Golem game. There's now this MMO game. And there's other unannounced titles in the next 18 months that are apparently coming for Lord of the Rings. Here's the thing. Do we want another MMO? Far out, man. MMO felt like Sir 2003. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels like, man, I don't know what they're going to do with the MMO. I don't know. Amazon's also trying to do that other MMO. What was that one called again? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Amazon did another MMO and it's not out yet or whatever, and it went back into development. Is it like New World or something? Anyway, they're going to be trying to do another MMO. And I remember the MMO that came out for Lord of the Rings back in like 2005. Remember that thing? I mean, it didn't compete, of course, naturally with World of Warcraft, and it went free to play after a while because it wasn't really like getting the uptick. And do you guys remember the Star Wars MMO? God, there was so many MMOs back in the day. There was so many MMOs, all trying to compete against World of Warcraft with their own shtick of like, hey, this is what we're doing, but we're also leaning on big IP like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. FF14 is pretty damn good. That is one that has stood the test of time. Absolutely. Guild Wars, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, something else. There's a few that have definitely stood the test of time. Yeah, New World. Was that the one? Yeah. Oh, it's killing GPUs. That's right, Mario. I forgot about that. Yes. It was killing GPUs. Good times. Good times for anyone that had a GPU and played New World. But look, I'll see what this is. I mean, whatever, right? I love Lord of the Rings, especially the Hobbits, right? The Hobbits were the best trilogy. Am I right, guys? God. But whatever this is, I mean, if it's worth checking out, we'll hear about it. And if it's kind of good, I'll boot it up. But if I see bad review scores and whatever, I'm not going to put any time into this thing. I'll be fine. Now, this is surely going to get me demonetized. But I thought it was so cool, I had to play it today. I mean, I love Jack Black and Tenacious D. They put out a new like song, and you've got to listen to it.
Are you plugged in?
Yeah.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. I don't play video games no more. I never play video games, except for a little bit of God of War. I never play video games. Maybe once in a while, a little bit of Fallout 4. But that's okay, not right now. I got things to do, cause I don't play video games no more. Never play video games. But Red Dead Redemption 2, that is not a game. It's an incredible journey through old American history. Fighting for your life and fighting for your family. Try to live your days with honor and integrity. That's not a game, that's an adult thing. That's not a game at all. That's like fucking Shakespeare. You know I don't play video games no more. Tiny bit of video game. I guess I still play fucking video games. Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
That's it. That's the one. It's on the album.
How good was that? How fucking good was that? Jesus, man. Well, there's 20 more seconds. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah, okay. No, that's just credits. Let's not give any credit to anybody. Fuck that. Fuck that. How good was that, man? Far out, I love that. I came across that this morning. I'm like, okay, that has to be in. Demonetized or not, the show is for free today. Show us for free. Claps the chat. Sometimes you got to do it because I love you. But love Jack Black, Tenacious D, and of course Peaches. Peaches was great. But I think he's doubling down on this whole video game thing. Jablinski or whatever that Mario, his Jablinski channel was popular. Absolutely it was. He doesn't do much on it now, but it did blow up and he did some cool stuff. And I definitely think he wants to still connect with the video gamers. The video gamers. That mushroom looks sus. There's a few things that looked sus in this. There's definitely a butt shot. There's a butt shot in here. Where is it? Oh, wait, we're not seeing it now. There's a butt shot in here. Oh, there it is. Butt shot, but no pee-pee shot. I wanted to see the Jack Black animation pee-pee. Sadly not, though. We'll have to AI it. Maybe AI generated can find out what was underneath there. Would love that. Speaking of AI, who's ready for the army of these things? If World War III is going to be interesting, okay? If there is a World War III, it's going to be a hell of a lot of these things with, like, a machine gun on the back of it. Called the T-1000. It's going to be scary. I, for one, will sit out E3. Well, I, for one, will sit out E3 and World War III. Because I'd rather just play games and let the robots do it. World Wars is such a robot thing now. It's so 1940s. It's the robots that do it now, okay? We don't need to do it. Just send these things in, and it'll be fine. Scary, but interesting, isn't it? In the next 20 years, we're going to see some, like, cybernetic thing from Cyberdyne or whatever, from Skynet, fully capable of holding a gun and, like, being as nimble, as strong, as fast, and as intelligent as a human on the battlefield. I legitimately think that. With AI taking off, it's going to be crazy, man. T1000, T100 version 1. Or do you mean T1000 Mario? Yeah, it's definitely happening. And I'm one of these people that's actually really open to seeing what AI does. I think some people are really scared about it, especially with like the creative space, with like what's going to happen with you know, music and art and cinema and television and just kind of creative endeavors in general. I think AI can be a really good tool for World War III. No, it can be a very interesting tool in the future about how we're going to use that. Like some people are going to write a script and then they're going to like just throw it into an AI and it's going to spit out some suggestions about how different plots can kind of eventuate and whatever. Someone can create an entire song, put it into AI, and the AI can be like, hey, you know what? Have you thought of this melodic change or this chord progression? Those things can also happen in the AI space, you know? Someone creates a painting, you take a photo of it, you put it into the AI, it can kind of grade if you've got the right triangle and all the artistic things, and it can figure out, hey, you know what? Try this color. Or it can spit out different ways that you can color it. Whatever, you know. I'm just talking crap right now, but I'm just interested to see what they do with it in the future. Speaking of being interested in the future, I guess, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sales already beating Hogwarts Legacy. Now, the figures are kind of hazy, but it seems like the Zelda sequel has seen physical sales 54% bigger than the Harry Potter spin-off. Here's the thing, right? So then we don't know what the eShop data is. I don't think we'll ever fully know what that is unless Nintendo wants to come out and say, hey, we've sold so many copies. Look at how many copies we've sold. I know that Breath of the Wild did sell 30 million copies year to date. That's a hell of a lot of copies for Zelda. But it's going strength to strength. And these figures are exclusively in the UK. So the UK figures are out, and it's done extremely well. It's done extremely well. And look, I think it deserves it. I think it's one of the greatest games that we've seen on Switch. Some people don't love it. Some people feel like it's overhyped. But one thing that we cannot, you know, we love the FPS. 15 FPS. That's one thing we can't dispute. Okay? It doesn't matter what you think about Zelda. As long as you're a big fan of the 15 FPS, then we're on the same page. We're on the same page. EU said yes because the UK said no. That's right. The rivalry sat nav. It's just like, you know what? Fuck them. They're not going to approve it. We will. Screw it. You want to leave? You want to leave us? Brexit, you want to leave us? Then you know what happens? We say yes to everything that you say no to. Speaking of other sales, Xbox Series S and X hit the 2 million sales in the UK, 12 weeks faster than the Nintendo Switch. So what, they've sold 2 million in the UK. Now, we don't know the exact figures of how many Xbox Series X and S's have been sold, but it's probably in the vicinity of the 15 to 16 million mark, give or take. Because it seems like the PlayStation has celebrated recently that they had sold 38 million. And it seemed from previous articles that I had spoken about on the channel that maybe it was in line with... no, sorry, not 16. I think about the 22 to 23 million mark that they've sold entirely across the world. Because the figures were showing that Xbox was lagging a certain percentage behind that 38 million. And we arrived at a rough figure of maybe it was about 22 million, give or take. Man, I mean, Xbox is still trying its best. God, that sounds like I'm pitying it. I'm like, it's trying its best. Still, man, like 2 million in that particular region. I mean, that's only one area of the world, right? So if they are still selling and it's 12 weeks faster than the Nintendo Switch, that's still an achievement. That's still something that they should celebrate. And as I've said numerous times before, the more that we can see that, the more that we can see Xbox being able to compete in the landscape between Switch, but more about Sony, right? The more they can compete with Sony, the better. The more that we can say, okay, cool. Sony has a legitimate competitor, keeping pricing in check, quality in check, and their general game suite in check about how much they want to be releasing. That's important. It's important for Sony to have someone that's going to be telling them, hey, before you rule the roost, there's someone else that's going to be nipping at the heels. That's important, I think. Or Xbox, says. Mario says, Xbox don't need to sell consoles, just controllers and Game Pass. I agree with that, Mario. That's definitely what they want to be doing in the future. Justin says, hey guys, finally made the stream. Hope you're all doing well, fam. I appreciate you, Justin. Good to see you, man. Now, I saw this yesterday. We covered this yesterday, but I didn't know it was the worst audience score in TV history. Okay, we covered this yesterday a little bit, but this is the worst score in TV history for Rotten Tomatoes. 1%? Holy shit. Now, I know there's a lot of people that have just jumped on here to give it a 0 out of 100, right? Because they just don't like what they've done with the whole Queen Cleopatra thing. I didn't think it was possible to get 1%. I didn't think it was possible. That's crazy. Should we do a review of it? As I said yesterday, I wouldn't mind doing a review of it. But it does get a bit saucy trying to cover this kind of stuff. Because I know there's a lot of Twitter discourse on this. But I'm here to talk about the audience score, okay? That is crazy. And the tomato meter, 13%. That's 8 reviews. 13%? It's almost like worth watching to see how bad it is. That's kind of why I want to watch it. Just to see how bad it is. Well, instead of... Bland says, well, instead of making history, it became history. It did become history. Absolutely. Absolutely. Neo says, yeah, Netflix not going to skip this one. Ah, super chat. Appreciate that, Ave. Ave Lata. Watch a... what? Let me just see what it says, actually. Watch along stream. Oh, watch along stream. I know what you mean with the Cleopatra thing. That'll be... Well, firstly, that would be taken down. I mean, do you guys remember I was reviewing The Pope's Exorcist and then the stream got taken down mid-stream because I was apparently infringing on the copyright laws, which is nonsense. I was watching a trailer with you guys. It's 11 now, Plant Lord. Okay. Oh, you mean the tomato meter is 11 or you mean the audience score? Yeah. It's a... Mario says it's a documentary, though. Well, apparently it's a documentary. How historically accurate it is, I don't know. I don't know, everybody. Interesting, though. We might have to revisit that in the future. It's an ongoing story. As the tomato meter continues to plummet lower, we'll have to continuously react to it. Now, I'm not a Fortnite person. I feel a bit silly today because I didn't know that this is... There's no ranked matches in Fortnite. This is coming from an absolute Fortnite noob, but I wanted to put it in because maybe people like Fortnite in the stream. Whoa, it's not ranked at all. So what, when you play Fortnite, you just play unranked the entire time for the last 5 or 6 years? That's crazy. Well, apparently it's coming now. Ranked matches are coming to Fortnite. You'll be able to play a Fortnite Battle Royale and Zero Build will each have ranked matches starting with version 24.40. Ranked Season 0 will then last until the end of Chapter 4 Season 3. So anyone that's a hardcore Fortnite fan, get ready for that. That's happening. That news came out yesterday. So that's kind of a new thing. And I guess people that don't actually play Fortnite, like me, aren't going to be affected by this. But people that do, hey, you get to play Ranked. With Overwatch, Ranked is fundamentally different. It's a different experience compared to playing Quick Play. It's such a more intense experience. So I think if Fortnite's anything in terms of like that same energy that can be conjured up in a competitive sense, people that are going to be playing ranked mode may feel like it's a fundamentally different feeling when you're playing, because it definitely is when you're playing Overwatch. Absolutely. Mario says, Fortnite def getting more creative with Unreal Engine 5 and creative stuff. Neat collabs. Mario, nah, Fortnite never did ranked. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. This is interesting. I have to put this in because you know what? Why not? So this guy, if you can turn back time, as you guys probably know in Tears of the Kingdom, you can use it as a weapon. And this Hinox, or whatever this, Hinox, is quite a worthy adversary at the beginning of the game. As you continue, you can kill him pretty easily. But you can actually use a giant penis made of boulders, spin it around a bit, and it'll actually kill the enemy for you. It's genius. It's actually genius. What I'd love to see is the end boss. All right, I'm guessing I haven't got to the end boss in Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm guessing it's Ganon. It's always frickin' Ganon, right? I wonder if you can just kill him with a giant penis. I wonder if you can do that. If a boss fight you could use a giant penis, I would be all for that. I would play that. All right, I would absolutely want to play that and experience that. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? I want to experience the giant penis. So, guys, you know how we love the AI game. We certainly love the AI game. Now, today, folks, is this real? Is this AI or is this real? This may be a bit easier to see because these trees. This may be an easier game today because these trees look a bit funky. But what do you guys think? Is it real? Is it not real? I don't know. All right. Am I playing mind games with you? Look, it's clearly real. Look at it. It's clearly real, right? What do you think? I'm saying it's real. That's like. Do you guys figure out what you think? You know. The AI game continues, and I love the AI. So have a think. You know, it's probably fake. No, it's probably real. Look at it. It's probably real. And while you think, people are just really trying to kill the Koroks. They're putting them on crucifixes. They're burning them at the stake. These poor things. Have you guys been playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? That's another thing I want to know. It's, I mean, as we've seen in this show, it's been going strength to strength. It's been doing a tremendous job, truly tremendous, to sell very well in the UK. And a lot of people are talking about it. It got 10s across the board, especially on Metacritic from all the user reviews. Are you guys enjoying it? Are you experiencing it? Are you not picked it up yet? I know a hardcore Zelda fan that just doesn't want to play it yet because he's finishing some other stupid game, right? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you've been waiting for this game for like a year now. Play this game, but he wants to wait, which I think is a bit silly. And while you're thinking about the AI, Super Mario comes to platforms tomorrow, okay? Well, that was yesterday, actually. No, that was today. So tomorrow. So guys, check it out. It's going to be the Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Movie is coming to digital platforms tomorrow. It had a hell of a run, though. $1.2 billion it made in the box office, if not more. I think last time I checked, it made $1.2 billion. It's ranked as the 10th biggest animated film of all time, and this is the first one. I mean, God knows what it's going to be like when we see a franchise out of this and that general quality is accepted by then, right? Like Endgame, like Avengers was one thing, but Endgame was like, holy shit, everyone tune in for Endgame. And if this quality continues to go strength to strength, then we may see this continue to further movies that come out. It may very well continue to go strength to strength. Well, to finish up, everyone, is this real? I've got in the chat here. The castle could be real. AI castle 2 intact. Okay, that's a good point. AI castle 2 intact. That's interesting. Kaiso Tope says AI. It is real, everybody. Real today. It is real today. That's a good point about the castle, though. It is real because I've done so many fake AIs. I needed to put in some more real stuff. That is a real castle. That is a real photo. Okay, guys, what are you talking about? AI isn't there yet. Well, it pretty much is, though. Some of the stuff that we've looked at, AI looks incredible. It does look incredible. That is a real photo. That is not AI, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. But, guys, I told you it was going to be a little bit of a shorter stream today. A little bit of a shorter stream. Grant Ruddy is wrong. Sorry, my friend. You are wrong. It is not AI. It is real. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the member today. Thank you very much. And also the super chats. I appreciate that. And, guys, everyone that watches, I do appreciate it every day. I enjoy having fun with you. We learn a bit. We look at some memes or some silly things in Tears of the Kingdom. We look at some AI stuff. And you learn about the news. Great product, if I don't say so myself. Guys, have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are. And I will see you guys next time. Laymen out.
You